And it's a little bit shallower than this.
Hello, folks, and thanks for joining us here at Colburn Park. I'm Dan Cooter on NewarkPilots.tv, and we're finally back to playing some baseball here tonight as Mother Nature has postponed a couple of games here in the last week, but the Geneva Red Wings come to town, and hopefully the weather will cooperate for once, and we'll play a full game here tonight. It's Ryan Marketel who will start on the mound for the Pilots tonight. He will face Trace Holder for the Red Wings, and for Geneva, an important game for them as they can clinch a playoff spot tonight. With the win over the Pilots, Newark obviously needed a win to keep their season alive, and a loss by the Elmira Pioneers, who were facing the Jamestown Jammers tonight, would do well for the Pilots. And for Ryan Marketel, he will try to change his fortune here tonight as he struggled in his last appearance, and it was against the Geneva Red Wings in that 14-9 loss about 2 weeks ago. For me personally, it feels like it's been forever since we've been back here at Colburn Park. So it's good to be back as we are set for first pitch tonight. And it's Jesse Hall who will lead things up for the Red Wings here tonight as we are set to go from Colburn Park. It's Ryan Marketel, as we mentioned, who is on the mound tonight. Alex Hernandez will do the catching duties for the Pilots. Jared DeSantolo is at third. Nick Kent at shortstop. And then Giovanni Torres at second base, and Grady Wright is over at first. In the outfield, Griffin Robinson is in left field. Parker Tadlock in center. And the DH tonight for the Pilots, Alan Murphy, is in right field. Marketel ready to go. As first pitch is out, and it's a ball inside. Derek Gavinsky is your home plate umpire tonight. Connor McKenzie is on the bases. 1-0 swung on and bopped foul by Hall. So it evens the count up at 1-1. Jesse Hall, the second baseman tonight for the Red Wings. Hall batting .233 on the season. Smacks this one into right, and it's going to go over the head of Torres. And he has himself a leadoff base hit to start us off here in the top half of the first.
Now batting designated hitter number 13, Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson, the DH, will come to the plate now. It's a good piece of hitting there from Jesse Hall. So he hit it into opposite field right over the head of the second baseman tonight for the Pilots, Giovanni Torres. And so the Red Wings quickly get their first base runner of the evening. Marketel misses low, and so it's ball one to Jackson. Santolo leads to Hall getting down to third base, and then an errant throw by the shortstop, Nick Kent, allows Jesse Hall to come around and score. It'll be at least one error. We'll see if there's two, as we'll see if Jared DeSantolo gets charged with an error as well. But Jackson reaches and then gets around to second on the pass ball at third. And so it's a 1-0 lead for the Red Wings early on here now. This one hit into left, and it's going to find the gap. Murray, the shortstop, with the hit. Rounding and easily coming around to score is Jackson, and just like that, the Red Wings are off and running with a 2-0 lead. As there's still no outs here in the top half of the first. Red Wings bats working early here as they have feasted on Ryan Marketel. The first three batters all able to reach. Two have come around to score. As Nebraska comes to the plate now and looks at strike one for Marketel. It's an RBI for Murray. This one, the pass ball, Murray takes a peek as he gets to second, and now he'll hold up. So it's a 1-1 count. Now Hernandez is going to have to come out and talk to Marketel as he is just looking for out number one here early on. So Murray advances down to second, and Nick Nebraska will stand back in from Du Bois, Pennsylvania. And he looks at another ball low here from Marketzel. So Austin Jackson does pick up a hit on the play. He doesn't get an RBI, as there's no error charge to D. Sansolo at third. But regardless, it's a 2-0 lead for Geneva. Still none gone here in the top half of the first. Change up from Marketzel finds the strike zone, and it evens the count up at 2-2. Murray down there on second, the 2-2. Fought off by Nebraska and sent foul, so it'll keep the count at 2-2 once again. Nebraska hitting .358 on the season. His team leading 35th appearance of the season. Oh, that one's inside, and it catches Nebraska as he is hit by a pitch. And we'll jog it down to first. And still none gone here as Jack Harris comes to the plate. And Harris, in his 21st appearance of the year with the Red Wings, a team-leading batting average of .373 on the season. Was driven in 15 runs on 25 hits and 67 at-bats. He will stride in with runners on first and second now, after Nebraska was hit by the Marketzel pitch. Harris, the center fielder tonight for the Red Wings, was 2 for 4 in the 5-4 loss last night against Watertown. Nowitzki calls strike one on the inside corner to Harris. Marketzel a couple peeks down to second. Now the 0-1. It's swung on into left. It's going to drop. Chasing it down is Robinson. He'll grab it and maybe save a run, but another run does come home to score, and it's 3-0 Red Wings now. Not an out recorded by the Pilots yet. So Jack Harris, an RBI single, drives in the third run of the inning already for Geneva. Jack Harris already extends his hitting streak to 8 games now with the RBI single into left. The off-speeder catches the strike zone from Ryan Marketzel. Marketzel, as we mentioned, struggled in his last appearance here against Geneva. He pitched 5 1/3 and gave up 9 earned runs on 12 hits. Trying to find his rhythm early on as he's given up 3 runs on 4 hits already. Gillis fouls that one off, and so he is behind 0-2. Gillis hits one into right. Murphy, the throw in. Nebraska charging home to the plate. He will score. And it's another RBI for the Red Wings, and it's a 4-0 lead.
Now batting the catcher, number 18, Zach Miller.
And now a mound visit here to Ryan Marketzel, as it has been a struggling early on in this one. So it's an RBI for Jared Gillis on the 0-2 count. He hits one into opposite, and it brings Nick Nebraska around to score. So all 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters for the Red Wings have come around to score already tonight. Grant Wyman trying to settle down Marketzel after the mound visit. It's going to be the catcher, Zach Miller, who will come to the plate. Already 5 hits for the Red Wings here in the top of the first. 4 runs. They lead 4-0. Miller hits one into the gap and right. More runs are going to come home to score. It almost gets to the wall. Murphy with the relay in. And another run scores. And it's 5-0 now, Red Wings.
Now batting the third baseman, number 11, Justin Barr.
It's an RBI for Zach Miller. And we're already to the 8th batter as every Red Wing hitter has reached here in the top of the first so far. A strike to the third baseman, Justin Barr. With runners at the corners for Geneva now. Barr can't hold off, and so he's behind 0-2. The off-speeder was in the dirt from Marketel, but Barr couldn't hold off. Here's the 0-2 from Marketel. Fouled off by Barr. That one caught him in the chest or the arm. And then skipped down the first baseline, and so it's a foul ball, and the count remains 0-2. Marketel misses with the fastball high, so it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Justin Barr. There's the 1-2. Whoa, that one sent foul. And Gillis almost got hit with that one down at third base, but it misses him and goes foul. And so the count remains at 1-2. Justin Barr hitting .221 on the season, his 33rd appearance with Geneva. Marketel tosses in a ball and it evens the count up at 2-2. Barr from Pensacola, Florida. Plays at Central Alabama. Here's the 2-2. Barr off the bottom of the bat and sent foul. So the count remains at 2-2. 19 hits and 86 at-bats this year for Justin Barr. 10 RBIs on the season. His last hit came all the way back on July 20th in a 9-4 win over Elmira. He swings on this one and sends it foul. He's making Marketel work for that first out of the inning. It's been a rough one. 5-0 already, Geneva. Here in the top half of the first. 6 hits already for the Red Wings. There's another 2-2 from Marketel. Barr off the top of the bat once again and sent high over the backstop, so he stays alive once again. Levinsky will retrieve some new balls after Justin Barr sends a couple out of the field. So Marketel ready with another 2-2. It's in the dirt, hits the plate. Miller will take off to second as Hernandez couldn't keep that one in front of him. Well, he technically did keep it in front of him, but it skipped away down the third baseline, and it runs the count full. Runners at second and third now for the Red Wings. Marketel will step off the mound and try to reset. Vinsky will make a trip out to Marketel. As the bats have come alive here in the top half of the first for Geneva, they lead 5-0 already. It's a 3-2 count to the third baseman, Justin Barr. So the Pilots are going to have to try and climb out of this hole early on here tonight at Colburn Park. Wind blowing pretty heavy left to right here tonight. Here's the payoff pitch from Marketel. Swung on down the first baseline and just foul. As that could have easily cleared the bases if it would have stayed on the left side of the line. But Ivinsky calls it foul just by a hair, it looked like. Grady Wright, the first baseman, was signaling for a foul. Long at bat here for Justin Barr in the 8th spot tonight for the Red Wings. Here's the 3-2 again. Chop to the third baseman, DeSansolo. He fields it. He'll have to go to first, and another run comes home to score. Barr will pick up an RBI as Gillis touches home plate, and it's a 6-0 Geneva lead already. Miller moves over to third on the ground, down to third base, DeSansolo. And it's the bottom of the order with Tristan Riley now. Riley, it's a little late to that one and sent it down the third base and foul. So he's behind 0-2. Red Wings most likely going to bat around here in the top half of the first. Here's the 0-2. It's swung down to the shortstop, Kent, able to field it on the hop. The play to first in time for out number 2, but Miller comes home to score. And it's the 7th run of the inning for the Red Wings now. So back-to-back groundouts bring home 2 more runs for the Red Wings. After Zach Miller is able to touch home plate, and Jesse Hall will stride back in for the second time this inning. The second baseman 1 for 1 already. And came around to score along with 6 other Red Wings here in the top half of the first. 6 hits for Geneva, and they lead 7-0. Hall hits this one deep into right. Tracking it is the center fielder, Tadlock, and he's able to make the catch for out number 3, but the damage is done here in the top half of the first. 7-0. Geneva leads. Pilots will try to dig out of the hole when we come back to the home side here at Colburn Park. Pilots, as we mentioned, the right-hander, Trace Holder on the mound. This one chopped down to the shortstop, Murray, able to field it on the hop, and the play over to first for out number 1. So a quick first out after the Red Wings were able to tally 7 runs on 6 hits in the top half of the first as they torched Ryan Marketel early in this one. So after the quick ground out from Nick Kent, the third baseman tonight for the Pilots, Jared DeSansolo, will come to the plate. DeSansolo hitting just above 300 at 307 on the season. DeSansolo was 1 for 4 in the back end. The doubleheader yesterday against Jamestown was 0 for 3 in the first game. It was an 11-6 loss and then a walk-off 7-6 loss to Jamestown at Diedrich Park yesterday. 1-1 count to DeSansolo. He swings on this one, hits it hard into the gap and right. Not able to come down with it is Harris, and it drops in for a base hit.
Now batting for the Pilots, the right fielder from St. John Fisher, number 10.
So a 1-out base hit into right. It's the first base runner of the night for the Pilots, and it brings Alan Murphy to the plate. For Trace Holder, the right-hander from Monroeville, Alabama. It's his 5th start on the mound this year for the Red Wings. Has made 6 relief appearances as well for Geneva. And has a 3.66 ERA. 0-1 count to the DH, or the right fielder, pardon me, Alan Murphy, as this one is sent opposite field and foul, and he's quickly behind 0-2. For Alan Murphy, he leads the team in just about every hitting category you could think of, with a .385 average on the season and 38 RBIs. There's the 0-2. It's a off-speeder hit high in the air. Shortstop Murray tracking it back and is able to make the play for out number 2. That one looked like it caught the wind and just hung up in the air, and the shortstop Murray was able to take a couple of steps back into the grass and make the catch. And so with 2 gone, Griffin Robinson will come up with Jared DeSansolo still over at first. Robinson, the left fielder tonight for the Pilots. He'll be followed by the DH Walter, and then Alex Hernandez was in the 6th spot, followed by Parker Tadlock, Grady Wright, and rounding out the order tonight is Giovanni Torres. Here's the 1-0 now to Robinson, able to hold off on a fastball outside from Holder. Zach Miller is behind home plate tonight for Geneva. At third base is Barr. At shortstop is Murray. Second stop is Jesse Hall. Second base, Jesse Hall. And then at first is Nick Nebraska. In the outfield is Jared Gillis. And center field is Jack Harris. And Trustin Riley is in right field. A 2-1 count to Griffin Robinson after Holder able to catch the outside corner. And now a check down to first, where Jared DeSansolo is. There's the 2-1 to Robinson, well outside, as Murray had to pop out of his stance to move outside and make the catch. And so it's a 3-1 count to Robinson, who is batting .312 on the season. Robinson looks at ball 4 just outside, and so it's a 2-out walk issued by Trace Holder.
Now batting for the Pilots, the designated hitter from Cochise College, number 9, Jake Walter.
Griffin Robinson saw 8-game hitting streak snapped in the second game of the doubleheader as he went 0 for 4 in the 7-6 loss to Jamestown. And in the 2 games against Jamestown back on July 20th and 21st, he was 3 for 4 and 3 for 5 respectively. As he's definitely was in a hot streak there before the 0 for 4 appearance last night. Jake Walter, the DH tonight for the Pilots, takes a mound visit to chat things over with Trace Holder after he tosses in a ball to Walter. Holder able to catch the outside corner as Walter looked at it. And he evens count up at 1-1. Walter holds off on a slider that missed outside, and so it's a 2-1 count. Holder had issued 11 walks coming into tonight, so the 12th of the season for the right-hander. Plays at Southern Alabama and stands at 6 feet on the dot and 170. Walter sends this one foul, and it'll catch it into the parking lot, and so the count will go to 2-2. Holder's last appearance was a 9-4 win at Elmira. So he pitched 5 innings. He gave up 4 earned runs on 8 hits. Got some good run support in that game. As Holder misses with another slider outside, and so the count goes full at 3-2. There's 2 gone here in the bottom half of the first. Red Wings, big top half, and they lead 7-0. Runners at first and second. Here's the payoff. Runners are going, and it's outside, and it's back-to-back walks from Holder.
Now batting the catcher from Nova Southeastern, number 6, Alex Hernandez.
Alex Hernandez, good chance for him to try and just give the Pilots a little bit of life here. Obviously, going to suck the energy out of this ballpark after the Red Wings came in here and knocked in 7 runs on 6 hits in the top half of the first. And so with the bases loaded, a mound visit here for Trace Holder, who has just lost his command just a tad, but he's got that good 7-run cushion to lean on. As for Trace Holder, most walks he has given up in a game is 4 back on July 2nd, right here at Colburn Park, and a 7-5 loss to Newark. He pitched 5 innings and gave up 4 earned runs and 8 hits in that game. There's the catcher Hernandez now at the plate as Holder misses outside. For Alex Hernandez, he's hitting .268 on the season. He looks at another ball from Holder, and it's a 2-0 count now. The bases loaded and 2 gone. Hernandez trying to get the Pilots on the board in the bottom half of the first. Here's a fastball inside, but Avinsky calls strike 1. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike to the catcher from Pembroke Pines, Florida. He was 2 for 4 in the 11-6 loss yesterday to Jamestown. So he swings on this one, catches the top of the bat, and goes foul. And it evens the count up at 2-2. 6-game hitting streak for Alex Hernandez. He'll try to keep that going to 2-2. Fastball outside. Hernandez able to lay off of it all the way. And so the count runs full, and Holder in danger of walking his 3rd straight batter and walking in the first run of the game for Newark. Here's the payoff. Runner's able to get a lead. It's hit high in the air. Harris is tracking it in right center. He's able to make the catch, and so Holder gets out of the jam after back-to-back walks, and the Pilots leave the bases loaded here in the bottom half of the first. Red Wings still have a 7-0 lead when we come back here at Colburn Park. It's the DH, Austin Jackson, who will lead things off here in the top half of the second. Dan Cooters, we welcome you back in. A big first inning for the Red Wings got them off and running early in this one. They lead 7-0 as they were able to get 7 runs on 6 hits in the top frame. And Austin Jackson, who's already standing in for the second time tonight, swings and fouls this one off, and it's a 1-1 count as Ryan Marketzel will try to settle down after he struggled in the first inning of work. Goes in an off-speed pitch. And there goes the camera. Great. And a 1-2 count to Jackson now. This one blooped into left, and it's going to fall over the head of Kent and drops in for a base hit.
Now batting the shortstop, number 23, Tanner Murray.
Austin Jackson 2 for 2 on the evening now as the shortstop, Tanner Murray, will come back to the plate. And he is 1 for 1 with an RBI single in the top half of the first. Marketzel misses inside for ball 1. One error charged in the first inning. So it went to Nick Kent, the shortstop. This one gets by Kent at short and smacked into center. And there's 2 men on here. Base hit for Murray.
Now batting the first baseman, number 31,
the second of the game already.
Nebraska.
The first 7 batters for the Red Wings were able to reach in the first inning before back-to-back groundouts from Barr and Riley. Nebraska, the only hitter out of the 7 that didn't have a hit. He reached as he was hit by a pitch by Marketzel. Nick Nebraska back at the plate as he was able to score as well. So he looks at 2 balls from Marketzel. Runners on first and second with none gone here. And the top of the second early on here at Colburn Park. Red Wings have jumped out to a 7-0 lead as they've already tacked on 8 hits in this one tonight. Red Wings hold the series advantage at 5-4. So these 2 teams have been competitive for the most part when they've hooked up. As Nebraska taking all the way, looks at strike 1 from Marketzel, gets himself into a hitter's count at 3-1. Marketzel, a couple peeks down to second. Now the delivery hit high in the air by Nebraska. It's going to escape foul, but Grady Wright has a play on it. The dugout scatters, and Wright is able to make the catch for the first out. So foul ball.
Now batting the center fielder, number 20.
That Grady Wright is able to track and make the catch to retire Nebraska. So the runners stay put at first and second with 1 gone. And Jack Harris comes to the plate with an RBI single to his name already tonight. Curveball by Marketzel doesn't come around enough as it misses inside to the center fielder. Get that camera for you fixed in just a second here as Harris is out in front of this one. And it evens the count up at 1-1. Jack Harris, as we mentioned, an 8-game hitting streak for him now after the RBI single back in the first inning. It's a 2-1 count as Harris looks at a ball from Ryan Marketzel. We mentioned Harris leads the team in batting average at .373. With this one down to DeSansolo, a double play ball, the throw in time. As DeSansolo able to toss it over to Torres, the play to first, and it's a double play ball that gets the Pilots out of the inning. It's a 7-0 Red Wings lead. We'll head to the home side of the second when we come back. Still a 7-0 lead for Geneva as we head to the bottom half of the second. Parker Tadlock will lead things off. So he looks at strike one from Trace Holder. It's the 7, 8, 9 hitters here in the bottom half of the second for the Pilots. After the center fielder Jack Harris grounded into a double play ball to end of the inning. Pair of strikes as Tadlock looked at one just a tad low, but Avitsky gives Holder the call, and Tadlock is quickly behind 0-2. It'll take a minute to step in, and now is ready to go. It's low in the dirt as Tadlock was able to lay off. That's 1 ball and 2 strikes to the center fielder from Angelo State. Another one low that Tadlock is able to lay off of. And it evens the count up at 2-2. Tadlock, a little blooper into right. Lifted right to the right fielder Riley, who was able to retire the leadoff man.
Now batting the first baseman from Lincoln Memorial University, number 17, Grady Wright.
So after the flyout, first baseman Grady Wright will come to the plate for the Pilots. Wright hitting .279 on the season, his 24th appearance with the Pilots. Wright able to hold off on a ball that's outside from Holder, so it's a 1-0 count. The Fayetteville, Tennessee resident. Wright holds off on another fastball that's high, so it's a 2-0 count. Grady Wright with 19 hits and 68 at-bats this season as he looks at 3 straight balls now for the right-hander Holder. As Trace Holder has already walked 2 batters as he makes his first trip through the Newark order. And Wright taking all the way as Holder is able to get a fastball to fall right down the middle. And so it's a 3-1 count now. There's the 3-1 in there for a strike as Wright has not gone around on the first 5 pitches he's seen from Trace Holder. So it's a full count now. Right, and 2 at-bats was 1 for 2 in the 7-6 loss last night to Jamestown. And it's inside for ball 4 as Grady Wright didn't have to swing at anything that at-bat. And he gets the free pass down to first.
Now batting for the Pilots, the second baseman from Bates College, number 1, Giovanni Torres.
As we mentioned with Trace Holder, he's not walked more than 4 batters in a game, but here in the second inning, already his 3rd walk issued. Hasn't given up any earned runs yet, though. And Geneva leads 7-0. Bottom of the order now for the Pilots is the second baseman tonight, Giovanni Torres, who we usually see down at 3rd. But Jared DeSansolo is there tonight, and Torres is over at 2nd. He looks at a strike in the outside corner from Holder and falls behind the count 0-1. Right, not much of a threat to take off, and so Holder focused on Torres. Tosses in a ball. Torres has hit .243 on the season with 17 hits and 70 at-bats. This is his 26th appearance of the season with Newark. And he looks at a strike. And is behind the count 1-2 to Holder now. Torres hitless in his last 2 games. There's the 1-2, swung on, hit foul. First baseman Nebraska tracking it, and it's just going to get over the fence and allows Torres to stay alive. Before those 2 hitless appearances and the doubleheader against Jamestown yesterday, it was Torres' strongest appearance of the season in a 4-for-5 game in the 14-7 victory at Elmira. He had 3 RBIs in the game and double as well. And after the foul ball, it's still a 1-2 count with 1 gone here in the bottom half of the second. Grady Wright is over at first after the walk. Torres smacks one into right. Tracking it is Harrison. He dives it. He can't make the play. Wright has to take off to second, and the throw isn't in time, and so all runners are safe as Torres gets himself a base hit, as the diving effort from Jack Harris was just not enough. Tough play for the center fielder, Jack Harris, as it was dropping fast, and it dropped just in the nick of time and allowed Torres to get aboard. So runners on first and second as the Pilots turn the order over. And it's the shortstop from Gordonsville, Virginia, Nick Kent, who takes a big swing and a miss at this one for strike 1. And for Newark, down 7-0. You just got to pick them off one by one here and hope you can keep the Red Wings off the board. Kent shows bunt on this one, but he backs off as it's a ball, and the count evens up at 1-1. Nick Kent batting .333 on the season as he has really come on here in the last couple of games. Looks at a ball, and it's a 2-1 count now. He was 2 for 4 yesterday, and it's an 11-game hitting streak now for Kent, who grounded out in the first inning. Pretty remarkable after he went hitless in his first 4, and then was 2 for 3 in a game against Geneva. And then on July 3rd was 0 for 2, and since then he's had a hit in every single game. As he hits this one in the left, it's going to drop, and he extends it to 12 games, and the bases are loaded now. So Nick Kent with a 12-game hitting streak now for the Pilots. And it goes to show you, wow, he's worked his way into the Pilots lineup and is in that leadoff spot now. And with the base hit, and the base is now loaded. Infield will be playing in a little bit here to try and cut the throw off at home and keep the Pilots off the board. DeSansolo who had the only hit of the game coming into this inning. He's 1 for 1 with a single back in the first. Takes a crack at this one and fouls it off for strike one. Holder flirted with danger back in the bottom half of the first when he walked the bases loaded before getting out of the jam. See if he can do the same here. There's one gone and the bases loaded. And an 0-1 count to the third baseman, DeSansolo. He goes with a curveball and it falls in and gets DeSansolo behind the count 0-2. DeSansolo with 11 RBIs on the season coming into tonight. In the 0-2, it's a big whiff. And all it took was 3 pitches, and DeSansolo goes down. It's the first K of the evening for Trace Holder.
Number 10, Alan Murphy.
The base is still loaded, and Alan Murphy at the plate now. A heavy hitter from Ridgefield, New York, will try to get the Pilots on the board as he looks at a ball on the off speed that missed low from Trace Holder. As we mentioned, 38 RBIs on the season for Alan Murphy. 40 hits and 104 at-bats. Leads the team in doubles, triples, home runs, RBIs, batting average, hits. Pretty much everything you can name. And it's 3 balls as Holder trying to be careful with Alan Murphy here. Is in danger of walking in a run, but the base is loaded. 3-0 count. See if Alan Murphy gets the green light here or not. He'll hold off, and it's outside, and Holder walks in a run. Fourth walk of the night for Trace Holder now. And Grady Wright touches home plate. And it's a 7-1. Red Wings lead now. Holder really never gave Alan Murphy anything to swing at. And Murphy never went around. And 4 straight balls, walks in the first run of the evening for the Pilots. And brings Griffin Robinson to the plate with the bases still loaded. And Newark would love to try and tack on another run. Griffin Robinson looks at a ball from Holder as he was walked in the bottom half of the first. It's another ball from Holder, and then Miller pumped one down to first. Didn't throw it as Nebraska wasn't over there, but Alan Murphy had a sizable lead. And we'll see if Miller takes a peek down there again. I'm sure Alan Murphy will be conscientious of that. Here's the 2-0 now. It's 3 straight balls again from Holder as he hasn't found the strike zone in his last 7 pitches now. Robinson will be laying off on the 3-0. Ivinsky finally able to call a strike as it catches the outside corner. It's a hitter's count now for Griffin Robinson with the bases loaded here. In the bottom half of the second, Robinson swings on this one and sends it foul. And the count remains full, looking like we're in for a long one here tonight, as it's taken us about an hour or so to get through the first 2 innings here. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, we've been rained out. It's good. Runners will get the head start and the payoff. And it's off the top of the bat and sent foul by Robinson. And so the runners will retreat with a full count and 2 gone. Robinson able to stay alive. Robinson with 9 RBIs on the season, trying to make it more. So he swings on this one and sends it foul right off his leg, and that one looked like it hurt. Oh, and he's hobbling that one off. That did not look pretty, and now he's down on the ground. Ooh. Trying to shake that one off. Caught him hard in what looked like maybe the ankle or the shin, and he is in a heap of pain now. He'll get a visit from the trainer. Looked like that ankle brace did much help there. His teammate Torres standing over on there with Grant Wyman. He's down at third base tonight for the Pilots, as Robinson gets some assistance from the trainer. Still a full count after the foul ball. And the bases loaded for the Pilots here with 2 gone. Holder has already walked in a run, as the Pilots trail 7-1 early in this one. Robinson seems to be okay, as he's back on his feet and throws the helmet back on. We'll see if he's good to go here. Red Wings already with 8 hits in this game, out hitting the Pilots 8-3 in the early going. Only 1 error to the Pilots back in the top half of the first. Robinson still shaking that one off, but he'll stand back in the batter's box with a full count. An important at bat now, as the runners will get the head start again. Another payoff here from Holder. Swung on and sent foul again by Robinson. That one luckily didn't catch his body, as it escaped into the backstop and the count remains full. Again, here's a payoff. Robinson hits the third. For the first time, Pilots second straight inning, the bases loaded. They didn't get a run, however. A 7-1 lead at the top of the third here at Colburn Park. Pilots strand the bases loaded for the second straight inning, as Trace Holder has given the Pilots a couple of beautiful chances to get back in this ball game, as he has walked 4 batters already tonight, but is able to get out of the inning, only giving up 1 run. And his Geneva Red Wings lead the Newark Pilots 7-1 as Jared Gillis leads things off here in the top half of the third. Mark Cattell is back in the mound. It's a 1-1 count to the left fielder. We've got an RBI single back in the first, part of that 7-run first inning for the Red Wings. This one high and inside from Mark Cattell. Gillis able to jump out of the way, so it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Gillis, a foul tip right into the glove of Hernandez, and he evens the count up at 2-2 now. The left fielder, Jared Gillis, who plays at Delaware State from Smyrna, Delaware. A curveball by Mark Cattell. This is just a tad high, and so runs the count full to the leadoff man, Gillis. Here's the payoff. It's inside, and Gillis gets the free pass down to first as Marketel issues the leadoff walk here in the top half of the third. First walk of the evening issued by Marketel. And it brings the catcher, Zach Miller, who had an RBI single back in the first. Miller hits one into right, lifted high in the air. Tadlock tracking it, but Murphy over there in right field able to call him off and make the catch for the first out.
Now batting the third baseman, number 11, Justin Barr.
Marketel starting to settle down just a little bit here after the gruesome first inning. Justin Barr comes back in. Could be a double play ball. Kent flips it over to Torres, down to first, and quickly that does it for the inning. And so it's another double play that ends the inning for the Pilots, and it's still a 7-1 Red Wings lead. We head to the bottom of the third when we come back. Dan Cooter here at Colburn Park as we welcome you back in. A 7-1 Geneva Red Wings lead as we head to the top half of the fifth here at Colburn Park. Top half of the fourth, pardon me. As the Red Wings out hitting the Pilots 8-6 as the Pilots left two more runners on.
Now heading to the Red Wings, the right fielder, number 21, Justin Riley.
And that is 8 runners the Pilots have already left stranded here tonight through 3 innings of play. Bottom of the order for the Red Wings, it's the 9-1-2 hitters for the Geneva. As Justin Riley, the right fielder, will lead things off. Swings at the first pitch and grounds it down to DeSantolo. He fields at the play over to first in time as the speedy Riley is retired to kick things off here in the top half of the fourth.
Now batting the second baseman, number 7, Jesse Hall.
Want to hear something funny, guys? I left the mute button on for the whole bottom of the fourth, or bottom of the third. So I talked to myself for a whole half of an inning. It was really nice. Hey. People are probably confused. I don't know. I think that's a. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. So, you know, I think to so many times I've like looked at it and I've like, oh man, did I press the button? And I've always pressed it and my luck has run out. That's the first time that's happened. So after the ground out from Riley, we head to the top of the order. It's 4 straight balls from Marketel and a 1-out walk issued now as Jesse Hall gets the free pass down to first base. Second walk of the night issued by Marketel, and it puts a runner down at first with 1 gone. And the DH, Austin Jackson, back at the plate, who was 2 for 2 in the evening. This one in the dirt, Hernandez looked like he lost it for a second, but Hall was not going to take off for a second there. And so Marketel gets away with that one. And it's a 1-0 count to Jackson. Jackson hitting .310 on the season. So he looks at a strike from Marketel. And it evens the count up at 1-1. Jackson, this one off the tip of the bat and sent foul, and he's behind the count now 1-2. Jackson was 1 for 3 in the 5-4 loss last night against the Watertown Rapids. He has 18 hits and 58 at-bats. This is his 20th appearance of the year with Geneva. He swings on this one, gets by the third baseman, DeSantolo, and skips into left. And there's 2 runners on now. As Jared DeSantolo couldn't come down with that one on a hard ground out. And Jackson 3 for 3 in the evening now. Three singles to his name. As he was 3 for 3 back in an 11-5 win against Adirondack on July 21st. On the strong appearance here in the DH spot tonight for the Red Wings. So with runners on first and second, it's the shortstop Tanner Murray who will come back to the plate. He is 2 for 2 and has been hot at the plate so far tonight as well. Murray hitting .263 on the season. Here's the 0-1. Well inside, the throw down to first. And it allows the runner to get down to third. As Hernandez took a gamble and it didn't pay off. As Jackson was able to slide back into first, and there's runners at the corners now with a 1-1 count to Murray. Murray had a strong appearance in the 4-3 win against Newark back on July 22nd. He was 2 for 3 in the evening. And we remember back to the 14-9 win that Geneva had here at Newark. He was 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs in the evening. He's in front of this one and fouls it off. And he's behind in the count now 1-2. 9 hits on the evening already for Geneva, as they're out hitting the Pilots 9-6. Only 1 error. It was back in the first inning, charged to the Pilots. Mark Cattell with the 1-2 to Murray. An off speeder, and it's chop foul down the third baseline. And it keeps the count at 1-2. Murray from Ben Lamont, California, plays his college baseball at UC Davis. And he'll look to stay alive here with runners at the corners for the Red Wings, and one gone in the top half of the fourth. Another 1-2 from Mark Cattell. And it's fouled off once again by Murray. He was able to fight that one off as he reached for it. As it was a curveball from Mark Cattell. Good job by Murray to fight it off and keep the count at 1-2. Murray with 4 home runs on the season. He smacks this one to the second baseman, Torres, and it skips right over his glove, and a run comes home to score. Tadlock won't throw it down to third, and it's going to be an error charged to Torres, an E4, as the Red Wings get their 8th run of the game. So on the error, Murray is able to reach at first, and there's runners at the corners once again as Jackson got down to third. After the ball skipped right over the glove, Torres down at second. Nick Nebraska will come to the plate now as he looks at a strike from Mark Cattell. The first baseman was hit by a pitch back in the first inning, and in the second he fouled out to Grady Wright in foul territory at first base. He's out in front of this one and is quickly behind 0-2. It's the 10th hit. Oh, pardon me, that wasn't a hit. Still stuck on 9 hits, but there's 2 errors now as Torres gets charged with the error. This one well inside and high as Nebraska able to duck out of the way. It's a 1-2 count now. Nebraska, who plays at Youngstown State, headed to the All-Star game back on July 18th. It's a 1-2 in front of this one now, and he sends it foul, and it keeps the count at 1-2. Nebraska checks his swing, and it catches the bat and sends it foul. And so he stays alive once again. The error brought Jesse Hall around to score. The second time he's touched home plate tonight. And the 8th run of the game for the Red Wings. They lead 8-1 here in the top half of the fourth. Off speeder in on the hands of Nebraska. It's blooped, and now Torres is chasing it second, and a good play by him, as he was the only infielder that really could make a play on it, and he was able to get his legs and get over there and get it for the second out of the inning. And so with 2 gone, Jack Harris will come back to the plate, and he grounded into a double play his last time up. 3rd time through the order for the Red Wings here, as Hernandez keeps a off speeder that was low in front of him. An RBI single for Harris back in the top half of the first, as Mark Cattell tosses in a strike and evens the count up at 1-1. Still runners at the corners here for Geneva. As Mark Cattell looks to get out of the inning. Here's the 1-1. It's inside as Harris lays off, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to the center fielder. Has had a strong season at the plate, as we mentioned, from Watsonville, California. He plays at San Francisco State, and he's batting .373 on the season. Curveball. Hernandez will throw it down to second. The tag. Got him. Good throw by the catcher, Alex Hernandez. And that'll do it. So the Red Wings get 1 more here in the top half of the fourth. They lead 8-1. After the pickoff from Hernandez, we'll head to the home side of the fourth when we come back.
Please report to customer service.
Top of the order here in the bottom half of the fourth. There's just a shortstop, Nick Kent, back at the plate. Kent, as we mentioned, extended his hitting streak to 12 games. And he sends those to the left, and he's got himself another hit. It's a leadoff base hit in the left as it escapes the shortstop, Murray. And the leadoff man is aboard here for the Pilots to start things off in the bottom half of the fourth. Kent, who is committed to play at Virginia University from Gordonsville, Virginia, has been red hot at the plate as he is aboard to start things off in the bottom half of the fourth. DeSantolo will stand in, and he swings and fouls this one off for strike one. It's weird to talk without that air conditioning on. It's been about a month since that thing's been off. 0-1 count now to DeSantolo. So he swings on this one and sends it foul once again. DeSantolo from Tampa, Florida. Plays at Florida Atlantic University. It's his 29th appearance of the season with the Pilots. Had a big game in that 14-7 win over Elmira a couple days ago. He was 2 for 5 and came around to score 3 times. Swings on this one once again and fouls it off and stays live, but the count's still 0-2 to DeSantolo. Kent down at first after the leadoff single. DeSantolo trying to move him over to second. It's an 8-1 Red Wings lead here in the bottom half of the fourth. Runners going, and DeSantolo fouls it off once again. And so Kent will have to retreat back to second. Nick Kent, 5 stolen bases on the season for him. As he does have some speed over there at first. We'll see if he takes off again. Holder will check up on him now after he was made aware that he tried to take off at a second on the last pitch. And so he checks up on him, but he can't back in plenty of time. So the count's still 0-2. Here's the pitch. Swung into left field. It's going to find the gap as Gillis charges after it. Kent will look for 3. Murray with the cutoff. And he'll throw to second. And there's runners at the corners. Big hit for DeSantolo. And with none gone, Pilots threatening here in the bottom half of the fourth. Second hit of the evening for Jared DeSantolo. So back-to-back singles brings Alan Murphy to the plate with runners at the corners. Murphy was walked his last time up. 4 straight balls from Holder. Now big cut from Murphy as he sends it foul. Murphy, he swings that bat fast, I'll tell you. Compared to DeSantolo. 0-1 count after the foul ball. Now this one's smacked down to the shortstop, Murray. Could be double play ball. Murray, oh, that one's way high, and that's going to bring home a run, and Murray will take off for second. And there's no double play ball. And Nick Kent comes home to score. It's an 8-2 ball game now with Murphy in scoring position after the error.
And the left fielder from St. Louis University, number 21, Griffin Robinson.
What are you going to give that as? Okay. Okay. So Alan Murphy over at second on the fielder's choice. He does get an RBI on the play. His 39th of the season as he inches towards that 40 mark. And a 1-0 count to Griffin Robinson, who stands on. Pilots, another run for them. It's an 8-2 ball game now. This one high from Holder, and it's a 2-0 count. DH Jake Walter is due up next with Griffin Robinson 0 for 1 at the plate. He was walked back in the first and grounded out in the second. Looks at a strike from Holder, and it's a 2-1 count now to the Shawnee, Kansas native who plays at St. Louis College. We mentioned Robinson. He's been strong at the plate this season, batting .312. swings on this one and sends it foul. Robinson seems to be okay after he took that ball off of what looked like the ankle, his left ankle, on a foul ball that caught him. As he's back in there with a 2-2 count. One gone here in the bottom half of the fourth. Alan Murphy over at second. Pilots have gotten one back. This one in the dirt. Miller, great job to keep it in front of him. And with the ball, it runs the count full. Holder a peek down to second. Now the payoff. Robinson chops at it into left. Gillis. It'll bloop in and it'll fall for a base hit. Jared Gillis looked like he wanted to make a play on it, but it just dropped too quick. And it puts runners at the corners. And Robinson has his first hit of the evening. No shortage of hits from the Pilots as they've come back and tied up the Red Wings at 9 hits all. And for Geneva, all their runs for the most part came back in the top of the first when they got 7. And they added one in the top half of the fourth. They lead 8-2 with the Pilots trying to cut into it even more here as they have runners at the corners once again after the single from left fielder Griffin Robinson. DH Jake Walter will try to bring in a couple more runs. Another mound visit here for Trace Holder, who obviously had that run support from the get-go when the Red Wings got 7 to start the game off. Not sure if he's really been in cruise control, but he's given up the hits. He's given up 9 of them, but he's only given up 2 runs to this point. Only one of them was earned. He walked in a run, but the Pilots have left the bases loaded 2 times already tonight. They left 2 men on back in the bottom half of the thigh for ball 1. Walter sends one into right. Looks like it's going to go foul, and it will, as Riley was chasing it down there, the right fielder for the Red Wings. Not there in time to catch it in foul territory as it drops in for strike 2. And so it's a 1-2 count now to Walter. And runners still at the corners for Newark. Holder, a couple peeks down to first, now the 1-2. It's an off-speeder, and it catches Walter as it's a swing and a miss and a K for Holder. A big one. And with 2 gone, Alex Hernandez will come to the plate.
Alex Hernandez.
Hernandez 0 for 1 with a flyout back in the third. He was walked in the first inning. Pardon me, he's 1 for 2. Got the wrong guy. It's a single. Alex Hernandez had his last time up, and he looks at strike 1 here from Holder. Hernandez trying to extend the inning for the Pilots here with the runners at the corners. This one drops into right, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Murphy will come home to score an RBI for Hernandez, and he has to come back to first as he was looking for second, but Robinson didn't take off.
Now batting for the Pilots, the center fielder from Angelo State University, number 2, Parker Tadlock.
And it's an RBI for Hernandez in an 8-3 ball game now. Action in both bullpens here. So we play on in the fourth. 2 gone. Pilots have gotten 2 back here. Tadlock will show bunt and throws it down the third baseline, but it escapes foul as the speedy Parker Tadlock trying to throw down the bunt and get aboard here with runners on first and second. Not a bad idea for Parker Tadlock, but that one escapes foul, and so it's strike 1 to the center fielder. As Holder ready to go with the 0-1 now. This one's low. And it evens the count up at 1-1. Red Wings lead this one 8-3, but they're now being out-hit 10-9 in the game, as the Pilots look for more here in the bottom half of the fourth. The 1-1 now from Holder, swung on by Tadlock. Down to the shortstop, Murray. He's able to field it and touch up second to end the inning. And so the Pilots strand a couple here in the bottom half of the fourth, but they get two back. It's an 8-3 ball game. We'll head to the top of the fifth when we come back here at Colburn Park. We head to the top of the fifth here at Colburn Park. I'm Dan Cooter, welcoming you back in. The right-hander Ryan Marketel will continue on the mound for the Pilots as he has settled down since giving up the 7 runs back in the top of the first. Geneva was able to get one back in the fourth. They lead 8-3 now. Although they're being out-hit 10-9 now, as Jack Harris, the center fielder, will lead things off for the Red Wings, as he is quickly behind 0-2. Harris was at the plate when Jesse Hall was thrown out at second by Hernandez. Harris grounds one to the third baseman, DeSansolo, and it gets by him. And into left for a leadoff base hit.
Now batting the left fielder, number 9, Jared Gillis.
No shortage of offense in this one. 20 hits between the two teams here in the fifth inning. And 11 runs altogether. So Harris down on first after the leadoff single, and Jared Gillis, the left fielder for the Red Wings, back at the plate. Gillis had an RBI single back in the first, was walked in the third, and he looks at 2 balls here to start things off from Marketel. Gillis grounds one down to the shortstop, Kent, and it bobbles into his chest, and both runners are going to be safe. It's the third error of the game for the Pilots. It's an E6 charge to Nick Kent. As a funny bounce caught him off guard and hit him in the chest. And Jared Gillis gets away with one, as both runners are safe at first and second now. So Gillis reaches on the air, and it brings the catcher Zach Miller to the plate. He'll show bunt, lay one down, but it's foul all the way as it lands left to the third baseline. And so it's strike one to the catcher. Zach Miller hitting .301 on the season. The catcher from Lincoln University, Pennsylvania, plays at Delaware. And he was 2 for 3 in his last appearance against Jamestown in a 6-3 loss. And he holds off on a bunt here, but it falls in for a strike. And he is quickly behind 0-2 now. Miller had an RBI single back in the first. Try to extend the at-bat here. The 1-2 swung foul. Miller not happy with himself after that pitch. But he does stay alive as the count remains at 0-2. Miller had a 6-game hitting streak snapped at home in Geneva in the 4-3 win against Newark. And that one looked like a strike 3 from Marketel, but Evinsky doesn't give him the call to the displeasure of the Colburn Park crowd. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Miller. Miller smacks one down the third baseline, but foul once again, as it's a long at-bat here for the catcher, Zach Miller now. There's another 1-2 from Marketel off the top of the bat, right behind us here in the backstop. That skews the camera a little bit once again. So after the foul ball, it's still 1-2 to Miller. This one swung on right down the middle. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Harris will round. Here's the throw home. It won't be in time, and the 9th run of the game comes home to score for the Red Wings.
Now batting the third baseman, number 11, Justin Barr.
Miller picks up his 2nd RBI of the game after what looked like strike 3. Count remained at 1-2, and Miller was able to hit one into center for an RBI single. Barr down to the shortstop, Kent. Could be a double play ball, and it will be. And so there's quickly 2 gone now as Gillis gets down to third. As the runners at first and second are out. So Justin Barr, after grounding into the double play, will bring the bottom of the order with Justin Riley to the plate, who was 0 for 2. He grounded out back in the 4th. Riley will hold off on one low, and the count goes even at 1-1. It's a 9-3 lead for the Red Wings after the RBI single for Miller. The 11th hit of the evening for Geneva. Riley pops one up foul. DeSantolo chasing it, but it escapes into the Red Wings bullpen and will drop foul for strike 2. It's the 2nd double play ball of the evening Justin Barr is grounded into, and he is 0 for 3 in the evening now. Marketel misses upstairs and outside as Riley able to hold off. 2s all across the board now here in the top half of the 5th. It's low and inside, and it runs the count full. As Marketel looks for the final out of the inning. Here's the payoff now from Marketel. It's high, and it's a 2-out walk issued. And it sends us to the top of the Red Wings order. Third walk of the evening from Ryan Marketel, and it brings Jesse Hall back to the plate, who was one of those 3 walks. He was walked back in the 4th and came around to score. One inside falls in for strike one to the second baseman, Jesse Hall. This one high and over the head of Hall. As it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Jesse Hall, who's hitting .233 on the season from Tallahassee, Florida. Plays at LB Wallace. Back-to-back balls from Marketel, and it's a 2-1 count to Hall, who has 27 hits and 116 at-bats this season with the Red Wings. Sends this one foul down the right side. Murphy takes a peek at it, but well out of his territory. And it evens the count up at 2-2 now. Hall was 17 RBIs on the season, has been walked 10 times, and has struck out 19. 2-2 count here. Swung on, chopped down to Kent. He's able to field it and throw it over to second to retire the side. And so the Red Wings get one more, and they lead 9-3. We'll head to the home side of the fifth when we come back. Bottom of the fifth here at Colburn Park. Dan Cooter welcoming you back in. It's a 9-3 Geneva Red Wings lead. They lead the Newark Pilots, and the right-hander Brett Super will come on the mound as Trace Holder's night will conclude. It's the 5th time the Pilots have seen Brett Super on the mound. He has a 3.07 ERA as he makes his 12th relief appearance of the season. Now, what was that? Curveball. Okay. Yeah. 1-1 count to Grady Wright. Yeah. So he's got that. He kind of throws it like really outside a little bit. Yeah. 2-1 count now. That one missed. Wright pops one high in the air down the third baseline. And Barr is over there to make the play to retire the leadoff man.
Now batting the second baseman from Bates College, number 1, Giovanni Torres.
Giovanni Torres, the second baseman tonight for the Pilots, will come back to the plate. He's 1 for 2. He had a single in the second and a ground out in the third. We mentioned a 9-3 Red Wings lead here in the bottom half of the fifth. They're out hitting the Pilots 11-10. 3 errors for the Pilots and 1 for the Red Wings. Super's last appearance came at home at McDonough Park to the Pilots in the 4-3 win. He pitched 2 innings and gave up 2 earned runs and 2 hits and picked up the win. He has a 2-1 record on the season. Torres looks at a pair of balls from Super and gets ahead of the count 2-0. The longest Brett Super has gone in a game was 5 innings back on July 9th in a 6-0 win over Jamestown. So he only gave up 1 hit on 0 earned runs in that game. By far his strongest appearance of the season. He's pitched just over 26 innings with the Red Wings this year and has 30 Ks and has walked 20 batters. Torres looks at a ball high, and he gets himself into a hitter's count at 3-1. Torres trying to get aboard with 1 gone here in the bottom of the 5th. He swings and misses on this one. And it runs the count full. It was a foul tip right into the glove of Zach Miller. And it's a full count now to Giovanni Torres. Here's the payoff from Super. Swung on. The end of the bat from Torres and sent foul. And he'll stay alive as the count remains full. Torres, who plays at Bates College from North Haven, Connecticut, has had 17 hits coming in tonight. His 18th of the hit came back in the 2nd inning for the Pilots. There's another payoff. Swung on high in the air. Underneath it is the first baseman, Nebraska, in foul territory, and he's able to make the catch for the 2nd out of the inning.
Now batting for the Pilots, the shortstop from the University of Virginia, number 8, Nick Kent.
Pilots head at the top of the order now. It's the shortstop, Nick Kent, who is 2 for 3 with a pair of singles in the 2nd and 4th innings. And he came across to score one of the 3 runs for the Pilots so far tonight. He swings on a curveball here from Super and sends it foul down the 3rd baseline. And he's behind the count 0-1 now. Kent, as we mentioned, was batting .333 on the season. His 18th appearance of the year, pardon me, with the Pilots. As the 0-1 is in there for strike 2, and Kent is quickly behind the count. Kent has struck out 15 times this season. He'll try to avoid that here with the 0-2 from Super. That one well outside and low as Kent was able to hold off, and it gets all the way to the backstop. And it's ball 1 to Kent now. Holder, who is in line for the win, is relieved by Super here as Kent sends one high into the night sky and left. Gillis and Harris come together. Harris will make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for the right-hander who plays at Pomona Pitzer. Brett Super will head to the top of the 6th with the Red Wings up 9-3 when we come back. Dan Cooters, we welcome you back here to Colburn Park, and it's Chad Nelson who will come on the mound now for the Pilots through 5 innings of play here tonight. Red Wings up 9-3. They have 11 hits compared to the Pilots' 10. 3 errors for Newark and 1 for Geneva. It was a 7-run top of the first that really got things kicked off here for the Red Wings. They added 1 in the 4th and then 1 more in the 5th as they've jumped out to a 9-3 lead here in the top of the 6th. As Chad Nelson misses for ball 1. Big swing and a miss there from the DH, Austin Jackson, and it evens the count up at 1-1. For Chad Nelson, it's his 8th appearance of the season with the Pilots. The right-hander stands at 6'3", 220 on the mound. And now Hernandez will call time and make a mound visit out to talk with Nelson, maybe getting their signals messed up. Nelson's last appearance was just last night, an 11-6 loss to Jamestown. He pitched 1 inning of work, didn't give up any runs, and just 1 hit. One count as Austin Jackson will stand back in. Jackson 3 for 3 in the evening with 3 singles. Nelson misses low as Jackson holds off all the way. It's 2 balls and 1 strike now. Nelson misses low again, and so Jackson gets himself in a hitter's count at 3-1 as he leads things off here at the top of the 6th. Red Wings can clinch with a win here tonight, and they're looking towards that as they have a 9-3 lead here over the Pilots. Big swing from Jackson as he misses on that one, and it runs the count full. Red Wings have taken 5, and the Pilots have taken 4 as it's the 10th meeting of the season between these two. They'll meet tomorrow for a doubleheader right here at Colburn Park. 3-2, swing and a miss. And the leadoff man goes down swinging as Nelson gets the K.
The shortstop, number 23, Tanner Murray.
The shortstop, Tanner Murray, will come back up as he is 2 for 3, was able to reach on an error back in the 4th inning. That would later bring in a run for the Red Wings. This one off the top of the barrel from Murray and sent foul, as it'll be an 0-1 count now. Nelson gets the call from Hernandez, and now the 0-1. Just a bit outside as Murray is able to lay off of it. And so the count goes even at 1-1. A 1-1 count to Murray, as we mentioned, hitting .263 on the season. He hits one high into left. Lifted towards the left fielder, Robinson. He's able to make the catch for out number 2.
Now batting the first baseman, number 31, Nick Nebraska.
Chad Nelson looking for the quick 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 6th. After a strikeout and a flyout, it brings the first baseman, Nick Nebraska, back to the plate. He's 0 for 2 in the evening, looking for his first hit. This one, a wild pitch from Nelson, but no harm done as there's no runners on here with 2 gone in the top of the 6th. It's ball 1 to the first baseman who plays at Youngstown State.
Is the rain out case here or no? No rain, right?
Big cut from Nebraska as it's strike one. Those are some dark clouds, I'll tell you that. Rain has chased these two teams around all season. That's why we got the doubleheader right here tomorrow. It's a 1-1 count to Nebraska now. This one well outside again. It's the second time this at-bat. Nelson has done that. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike now. We saw a similar game here a couple weeks ago where the Red Wings jumped out to a 14-4 lead. They would hold on to win 14-9. So they have a 9-3 lead here in the top of the 6th, and with 2 gone, it's a 3-1 count now to Nebraska. Three-one count. Here's the pitch from Nelson. It's low, and it's a 2-out walk issued.
Now batting for the Red Wings, their center fielder,
Chad Nelson had walked 8 batters coming into tonight, so it's his 9th walk as a Pilot. And it puts Nebraska aboard on first after the free pass, and with 2 gone, Jack Harris back at the plate. Harris will swing on this one right off the top of the bat and send foul for strike 1. Harris 2 for 3 in the evening. Had a single and came around to score his last time up in the top half of the 5th. Here's the 0-1 from Nelson. Hit high in the air into shallow center. Tadlock is underneath it, and he's able to make the catch. And so no harm done in the 2-out walk by Chad Nelson, as it's a quick inning here in the top of the 6th. Still a 9-3 Geneva Red Wings lead. We'll head to the home side when we come back here at Colburn Park. We welcome you back to Colburn Park. I'm Dan Cooter on NewarkPilots.tv, and the Pilots will try to put on the rally caps when we head to the bottom of the 6th, as they trail the Red Wings 9-3. Geneva heading the Pilots 11-10, and so there's been no shortage of base runners for the Pilots here tonight. Haven't been able to get the runs to go along with it. Jared DeSantolo leads things off. It's the 2-3-4 hitters here in the bottom of the 6th. And for DeSantolo, he's 2 for 3 in the evening with a pair of singles to his name. The 1-0 outside from Brett Super as he starts his 2nd inning of work. A quick 1-2-3 inning for him after taking over for the right-hander Trace Holder, who is in line for the win here tonight. after he exited the game with a 9-3 lead. 2-0 is a breaking ball that misses inside, and it's a 3-0 count to the leadoff man, DeSantolo. Pilots have left 10 men on here tonight so far. And it's 4 straight balls and a leadoff walk issued by Brett Super.
Right fielder from St. John Fisher, number 10, Alan Murphy.
The hard-hitting Alan Murphy comes back to the plate. Had a sac fly back in the 4th that brought home a run. Was able to pick up an RBI on the play. Still looking for his first hit of the night, however, with DeSantolo down at first. Murphy holds off on a fastball that catches the outside corner for a strike 1. Alan Murphy was able to win the home run derby at Dunn Field in Elmira in the 2018 All-Star Game. A foul tip into the glove of Miller, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Alan Murphy has 6 home runs on the season. And was able to show his power in the home run derby this year. Here's the 0-2 from Super. Curveball that broke just to add a pair in the 4th and 5th inning. But it's down to a 4-run lead for Geneva now, after they once led 7-0. For Griff Robinson, he picks up the RBI on the sac fly, as Jared Gillis was able to track it down. He had to cover some ground there in left field. Walter will come to the plate after the bases are cleared now, with 1 gone. Walter looks at his strike from Super and evens the count up at 1-1. One count to Walter as Super is ready to go with the delivery, and it's a fastball that's outside for ball 2. Walter is 0 for 2 in the evening. He struck out his last plate appearance. Here's the 2-1. It's high, and Walter is able to lay off of it. It's the 3-1 to Walter. Inside, did Walter hold off? Yes, he did. That one looked a little close, but it's a 1-out walk issued by Super now.
From Nova Southeastern, number 6, Alex Hernandez.
And for Alan Murphy, 2nd in the league now alone. He was tied with Ryan Hernandez with 38 RBIs coming into tonight. He's up to 40 on the year. I don't think anyone is catching Ryan Tours from Mohawk Valley, however. He's got 57 RBIs coming into tonight and 10 home runs to his name, which is also a league best. So Ryan Tours, who plays at Villanova, we saw him twice this year, and he sent 1 yard here at Colburn Park. Kid can swing the bat, batting .404 on the season. A good season for Tours. Here in the Perfect Game League, an 0-1 count after the 1-out walk issued to Jake Walter. And the catcher, Alex Hernandez, back at the plate. Hernandez swings on this one and sends it foul, and he is behind 0-2 now. Super, ready to go with the 0-2 now. Goes with the slider, and it misses outside. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hernandez now. Walter down at first after the 1-out walk. From the stretch, Super with the 1-2. Looks at strike 3 from Hernandez, and then the throw down to first, not in time. But Hernandez looks at strike 3, and there's 2 gone now.
Now batting the center fielder from Angelo State University, number 2, Parker Tadlock.
Parker Tadlock 1 for 3 in the evening, had a single back in the third, and he'll try to extend the inning with 2 gone now, and Walter's still over at first. For Brett Super, the right-hander who pitches at Pomona Pitzer from Newport Beach, California. It's his 31st strikeout of the season with the Red Wings. One-0 count to Parker Tadlock. Fastball misses just outside. Zinski could not give Super the call on that one. It's a 2-0 count now to Tadlock. With 2 gone here in the bottom of the 6th. 3 straight balls after this one misses inside from Super. 2 more runs here for the Pilots. They've cut into that Red Wings lead. It's a 9-5 Geneva lead now. 11 hits apiece in this one tonight. The 3-0 from Super. It misses high. So it's a 4-pitch walk from Brett Super. And it puts runners on first and second. And it brings Grady Wright to the plate. So after the 1-2-3 inning from Super, much different inning for him. He's given up 2 runs and has walked 2 batters. 2 gone. There's runners on first and second for the Pilots. Grady Wright batting .279 on the season coming into tonight. Has struck out a team leading 29 times. We'll try to avoid it here. With 2 gone, trying to extend the inning once again in the bottom of the 6th. With runners on first and second now for Newark. Fastball from Super misses outside. And so it's a 1-0 count to the first baseman from Fayetteville, Tennessee. One looked a little outside. Similar to the last pitch, but it seems to catch the strike zone. Grady Wright checks up with Izinski. And a 1-0 count, 1-1 count, pardon me, to Wright now. It's one inside from Grady Wright, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Wright, his only home run of the year came here at Colburn Park in the 14-9 loss to Geneva back on July 13th. As home plate umpire Derek Kaczynski calls time. So it's still a 2-1 count to Wright with runners on first and second for the Pilots. 2-1 is high and outside. And with the 3-1 count, Super in danger of walking the bases loaded. As we mentioned, Pilots have already stranded 10 in this game as they got 2 more on here with 2 gone. 3-1 count to Wright. He'll swing on this one and send it foul, and the count will run full. Two runs here in the bottom of the 6th for Newark, and it's a 9-5 ball game now. Super, a check down to second. Now the payoff. Swing and a miss is a foul tip right into the glove of Miller. And so the Pilots strand 2 more, but they get 2 back here in the bottom half of the 6th. They trail the Red Wings 9-5 after 6 innings of play here at Colburn Park.
I'm surprised he didn't buzz Casey.
I know. Top of the 7th here at Colburn Park now. It's a 9-5 Red Wings lead as Chad Nilsson is back on the mound after a scoreless inning of work after taking over for Ryan Marketel. Able to get ahead here as he tosses in strike one to the left fielder, Jared Gillis. Had an RBI single way back in the first. That was part of a 7-run first inning for the Red Wings that got them off and running early. Nelson misses low for ball one. It's an even count at 1-1. Gillis was able to reach on an error back in the 5th inning. Nelson with a fastball that misses just outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to the Delaware State product. This one misses outside. We've seen Chad Nelson do that a couple times here tonight. That one escapes the glove of Hernandez and makes its way all the way to the backstop. So a 3-1 count to Gillis as he leads things off here in the top of the 7th. Nelson with the 3-1 inside, and it's a leadoff walk issued to Jared Gillis.
Now batting for the Red Wings, their catcher number 18, Zach Miller.
7th inning here at Colburn Park. And a leadoff walk, the 2nd of the game by Chad Nelson, brings the catcher Zach Miller back to the plate. Miller swings on this one and sends it foul, and high enough to get out of play. Zach Miller is 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. So you had that RBI single back in the 5th to drive in the 9th run of the game for Geneva. It's the last time they scored, as Nelson was able to hold them scoreless in the top half of the 6th. Nelson will back off as he took a peek over to first at Jared Gillis. And now he'll reset with the 0-1. This one hit high in the left, but Robinson is underneath it and able to make the catch for the first out.
Now batting for the Red Wings, their third baseman number 11, Justin Barr.
Seems like Kaczynski lost his stash that he had. I like that. This looks like he's going for the full beard now. Barr out in front of this one for strike one. He'll try to change his fortune. It's the plate. So he's 0 for 3 as grounded into a pair of double plays. And with Gillis over at first and with 1 gone, Nelson looking for a similar result here. Can't catch the outside corner. Just a 1-1 count to the third baseman Barr now. One count. Nelson takes a peek over to first. And now the delivery. Outside. Hernandez able to keep it in front of him. 2 balls and 1 strike as Gillis stays put over at first. Gillis only 1 stolen base on the year. For Justin Barr, he's grounded into a team-leading 8 double plays now. This is a blooper into center. Tadlock is not able to make the catch, and so Gillis gets into second base safely as Justin Barr has his first hit of the night now. The blooper single into center puts runners on first and second for the Red Wings. They look to deliver the knockout punch here in the top of the 7th. They lead 9-5. They've allowed the Pilots to hang around in this game after being up 7-0. Pilots have stranded 12 runners in this game, and so the Red Wings have really gotten off the hook with their 9-5 lead. Bottom of the order, the right fielder Riley at the plate. He was walked back in the 5th inning and is 0 for 2 on the evening. Seven out of the 9 batters tonight for the Red Wings have been able to record an RBI in the game. Much of that coming back in the top of the 1st. As Riley looks at strike 1 from Nelson, a 1-1 count now. As Nelson misses outside and low with this one. As we mentioned, for the Red Wings, they can clinch up a playoff spot if they can hang on to this 4-run lead that they have. Try to take down that 2nd position in the Western Division, as Jamestown really ran away with things from the get-go in this 2018 season. And with the win against Elmira tonight, they can clinch the top seed in the playoffs, as Amsterdam in 2nd position in the league. Count runs full on Riley after a strike. Amsterdam is leading 9-7 against Oneonta. Jammers trail the Pioneers in the top of the 6th, 3-1. Nelson with the payoff. Swung on by Riley, grounded down to Torres. He scoops it up and tosses it over to 2nd. There won't be a play at 1st. And so Riley avoids the double play ball, but there's 2 gone and runners at the corners for the Red Wings now.
Their second baseman, number 7, Jesse Hall.
Riley reaches on the fielder's choice as Torres, kind of a tricky play as it was a slow grounder. He was able to field it and toss it over to 2nd, where Nick Kent was able to tag up for the 2nd out. And essential that the Pilots get out of this inning without giving up any runs. As they're in striking distance, down by 4, 9-5 here, with runners at the corners and 2 gone. The top of the order with Jesse Hall, who is 1 for 3 on the evening. 0-1 in there, and Nelson quickly gets ahead in the count, 0-2. Nelson trying to pitch his 2nd straight scoreless inning here after taking over from Marketel back in the 6th inning. Nelson with the 0-2. Outstand in the dirt. Hernandez drops to his knees and keeps it in front of him. It'll be the bottom of the order with Giovanni Torres when we head to the 7th. As the 1-2 swung on foul by Hall, and he'll stay alive as the count remains at 1-2. 12 hits for the Red Wings here tonight, 11 for the Pilots. Newark still sitting on 3 errors, Geneva with 1. As we play on here in the 7th inning. Still a 1-2 count after the foul ball from Jesse Hall. Nelson from the stretch with the 1-2. Runners going. It's hit into the gap, and it's going to bring in a run. Unfortunate play there as Torres took off to 2nd. And the ball was hit right to where he was, and he knew it as soon as it got hit. So he looked up. And it brings in a run. It's an RBI for Jesse Hall. And it's a 10-5 Red Wings lead with runners at the corners once again for Geneva. Foul tip right into the glove of Hernandez. It'll be strike 1 of the DH Jackson. Nelson with the 0-1. Goes with the breaking ball, but it misses inside, and it runs the count even at 1-1.
Hey, we need to win this.
Yeah. We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll try it, yeah.
Hall will take off to second, but it's fouled off by Jackson as he falls behind in the count 1-2. Hall will have to retreat to first as he picked up his 18th RBI of the season. Second on the team, only to Nick Labrasco, who is 21. Nelson trying to get out of the inning after giving up the run just a moment ago. Here's the 1-2. Runner will go again. Hernandez will pump the throw as Riley down on third, and Hall easily able to get into second. Ball from Nelson moves the count to 2-2, so runners at second and third now. And the 2-2 from Nelson, swung on into the gap and left. Play by Kent. It's going to be a tough throw to first. Is it in time? Yes, it is. What a throw by Nick Kent. Down at shortstop, across the body, and he gets him for the third out of the inning. The Red Wings add one, but the great play by Nick Kent limits the damage. It's a 10-5 ball game. We'll stretch it out here at Colburn Park as we head to the home side of the seventh right after this.
Now batting for your Newark Pilots, the second
Red Wings
baseman
get
from
one back in the
Big South,
top half of the
number 1,
7th. We stretch it out, and we head to the bottom half now as the bottom of the order with the Pilots at 10-5 Red Wings lead. And while we were gone, manager for the Red Wings, Dan Schwam, not too happy with the call. Made his way out to the outfield, had a little chat with Connor McKenzie, got a little heated, and Schwam's out of here. He'll hit the showers early. I don't know if he needs a shower, but Connor McKenzie tossing him from the game as Schwam obviously in a disagreement about the call that ended the inning on the play from Nick Kent. But regardless, McKenzie not going to change his mind. And so Schwam exited from the game, but his Red Wings still lead 10-5. And Tyler Key will take over on the mound, the right-hander from Riverdale, California. And Torres gets hit. Torres takes that one like a man. Gets the free pass down to first to lead things off here in the bottom half of the 7th. Pilots trailing by 5 in this game, and they head to the top of the order now with Nick Kent, who was 2 for 4 in the evening and extended his hitting streak to 12 games now. Pitches at Mendocino Community College. It's his 12th appearance of the season with Geneva. Miller able to snag that one out of the dirt. So it's ball 1 to the shortstop, Nick Kent. And a 1-1 count. All of Key's appearances have been reliefs. He hasn't gone longer than 3 innings of work this season. He has 13 strikeouts and has walked 9 batters. Kent gets in front of this one and sends it down the third baseline. Is behind the count 1-2 now. Kent flew out back in the 5th inning. We'll try to extend the at-bat here. Key from the stretch with the 1-2. Goes with the fastball, and Kent pops it up high and to right. Riley is underneath it and is able to make the catch for the first out of the inning.
Now batting for the Pilots, the third baseman from Florida Atlantic University, number 31, Jared DeSantolo.
DeSantolo, 2 for 3 in the evening, was walked in his last plate appearance in the 6th inning. And he will step in with Torres still down at first after being hit by a pitch to lead things off here in the bottom half of the 7th. Key goes with the fastball and misses just a tad outside for ball 1. Key's last appearance was back on July 21st, an 11-5 win over Adirondack. He pitched 1 scoreless inning of work, didn't get up any hits in that appearance. In the 11 appearances that Tyler Key had coming into tonight, only one of them he has been involved was a win, and it was the last one against Adirondack. His last 10 appearances before that all resulted in losses. DeSantolo chops one down to Hall, and he's able to field it and make the play over to first for out number 2 as Torres advances to second.
Now batting for the Pilots, the right fielder from St. John Fisher, number 10, Alan Murphy.
It's crazy to see that. He only has a 2.16 ERA, and so he's really been quite strong. It's his second best ERA on the team, only to Joey Haas, who has a .55 ERA in 16 appearances with Geneva this year. So he's been the stud for that pitching staff. So a curveball from Key falls in for strike 1. Murphy will try to extend the inning. He had a RBI triple his last plate appearance. So he looks at back-to-back strikes and is behind in the count 0-2. Alan Murphy, his 6th triple of the season. Griffin Robinson is the next closest on the team with 2 triples. The 0-2 from Key. Goes to the off-speeder and a swing and a miss from Murphy. And that'll do it. So after Key hits Torres to lead off the inning, sends him down in order. And it's a 10-5 Red Wings lead. Well to the top of the 8th when we come back here at Colburn Park. Dan Cooter back here at Colburn Park after 7 innings of play here tonight. It's a 10-5 Red Wings lead. They got off to a 7-0 cushion back in the top of the first, and they haven't looked back since as they close in on a playoff spot. If they can hold on to this 5-run lead, they're 6 outs away from doing that. And Chad Nelson is back on the mound for his 3rd inning of work. He gave up 1 in the top half of the 7th. So he came on in the 6th in relief of Ryan Marketel. Nelson misses with his first 2 pitches. It's a 2-0 count to Tanner Murray. The shortstop is 2 for 4 on the evening. Flew out in the 6th inning. Nelson misses with another one high. So he seemed to slip off mound just a little bit there. And a 3-0 count to Murray now as he leads things off in the top half of the 8th. And Nelson misses in the dirt. That's a 4-pitch walk to lead things off. It's the 3rd walk Nelson has tossed out
Nick Nebraska
here this evening. Nick Nebraska will come back to the plate. He was walked by Chad Nelson the first time he saw him in the 6th inning. Nebraska and Riley, the only 2 hitters in this Red Wings lineup without a hit tonight, as they've tallied 13. Nebraska out in front of this one, and he fouls it off. So the count will go even at 1-1. Nebraska heading .358 on the season. With a 6-game hitting streak that ended 3 games ago. He chops this one foul into the stands off to the right, and he's behind in the count now 1-2. As we mentioned, Nebraska was hitless last night in the 5-4 loss to Watertown. He was 0 for 3. She'll step back in after fouling that pitch off. Is behind in the count 1-2. Murray on first after the leadoff walk. Nelson misses. This one's low, but Hernandez does a good job to keep it in front of him. Nelson keeping Hernandez busy behind home plate. It's another pitch in the dirt. 2-2 count now to Nebraska. Nelson from the stretch. Then Nebraska fouls off another one to keep the count square to 2. As we mentioned, a doubleheader between these two teams right here at Colburn Park. His first pitch will thrown out at 5 o'clock. And then the second game set to begin 30 minutes after the first one concludes. And what will be 7 innings apiece between the two games. So plenty of baseball on tap here tomorrow at Colburn Park. A 2-2 count to Nick Nebraska. Big whiff by Nebraska, and Nelson's able to get the K.
Now batting for the Red Wings, their center fielder number 20, Jack Harris.
So Nebraska remains hitless on the evening after the strikeout. It brings the center fielder Jack Harris back to the plate, who was 2 for 4 in the evening. He flew out back in the 6th inning. He smacks one in the left on the first pitch he sees. Escapes into the outfield. Robinson bobbles it, but is able to corral it now and relay it in to Nick Kent to keep the runner Murray at second.
Now batting the left fielder number 9, Jared Gillis.
But Jack Harris makes quick work of Chad Nelson there, his 3rd hit of the evening. Puts runners on first and second for the Red Wings now. Gillis will stand in for the 5th time this evening. He was walked back in the 7th inning and has an RBI to his name tonight. Take a crack at this one and foul it off the top of the bat and foul right into the backstop in front of us. Gillis batting .292 on the season. Has 10 RBIs and 1 home run. He chops one into right. Tadlock chasing after it, and he's able to make the play from center field. Tagging up, and now the throw to third. Will it be in time? No, it won't. As Murray able to tag and get to third safely to put runners at the corner for the Red Wings with 2 gone.
For Geneva, their catcher number 18, Zach Miller.
So with the runners at the corners after the fly out to center that Parker Tadlock chased down, Zach Miller will try to cushion the Red Wings lead as they have a 5-run padded lead. 10-5 they lead, with Murray over at third. Miller already has a pair of RBIs tonight and is 2 for 4. One-0 count to Miller after Nelson misses with the first pitch in the dirt. Now Miller smacks one into center, and it's his 3rd RBI of the evening as another run comes home to score for Geneva. Zach Miller, he has seen the ball well tonight and has capitalized with runners in scoring position. His 3rd RBI of the evening extends the Red Wings lead to 11-5. Justin Barr was able to get in the hit department in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 4 now tonight. He's in front of this one and sends it foul. with the RBI single from Zach Miller. It's the 15th hit of the evening for the Red Wings. Still runners on first and second now for the Red Wings with 2 gone. Nelson misses just outside. It's a 1-1 count to Justin Barr now. Barr pops one high in the air. Hernandez loses the mask, but it'll escape just over the backstop. And it moves the count to 1-2. Justin Barr back on July 13th in that 14-9 win over the Pilots right here at Colburn Park at his best game of the year, going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. It's the only time this season he has tallied more than 2 hits in a game. This one is behind Barr. It doesn't hit him, though. But the wild pitch allows the runners to get the second and third, pardon me. And it moves the count to 2-2. Barr, who was hitless in his last 4, as we mentioned, able to get a hit his last plate appearance. Tries to extend the inning. So it's a 2-2 count. Runners at second and third after the wild pitch from Chad Nelson. 2-2, fought off by Barr right off the end of the bat. So the count remains square to 2. So after the foul ball, Nelson with another 2-2 offering. This is outside. So he went for the off-speed pitch. Runs the count full. Nelson trying to get out of the inning after giving up another run here in the 8th. It extended the Red Wings lead to 11-5. Nelson with the payoff. Barr pops it high in the air. Backing up is the second baseman, Torres, and he's able to make the catch. So the Red Wings strand 2, but they add another run here in the top half of the 8th. They lead 11-5 as we head to the home side. Pilots will look to rally when we come back here at Colburn Park.
Now batting for the Pilots, the left fielder from St. Louis University, number 21, Griffin Robinson.
Bottom half of the 8th now here at Colburn Park. Pilots trail 11-5. And it's the fourth pitcher of the evening for the Red Wings. And it's their stud, Joey Haas, who will come on. Red Wings taking no chances as they're trying to lock up their playoff spot for the 2018 playoffs in the perfect game. And they turn to Haas, who makes his 16th appearance of the season. Foul tip by Robinson into the glove of Miller. Goes for strike one. Haas, as we mentioned, a .55 ERA. His 16th appearance. And he's only given up 5 hits overall. Goes with the fastball here and misses outside. And it pushes the count even at 1-1. Haas hasn't given up a hit in his last 3 appearances. Last time he appeared was in the 4-3 win over Newark, as Robinson fouls one off, and the count goes to 1-2. Last time Joey Haas gave up a run was back on June 29th, so about a month ago. A right-hander from Camden, Delaware. Not a big man by any means. Stands at 5'11", 175 on the mound. Plays at Delaware along with the catcher, Zach Miller. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. A nasty slider. Gets Griffin Robinson. Swinging and missing.
Hitter from Cochise College, number 9, Jake Walter.
And for Joey Haas, he's had a strikeout in every single appearance but one. And he's only pitched 16 innings of work, but it's his 31st strikeout. And so with Griffin Robinson gone, brings Jake Walter to the plate. And you just have to wonder if these Pilots hitters just feel helpless against Haas, who has just stymied this whole league as a whole. It's not just the Pilots. It extends far beyond them. As no one has really been able to find much luck on this kid. Walter is quickly behind 0-2. And you look at the Red Wings infield, they're not even like, they know that, they just know. A swing and a miss from Walter. And it's back-to-back strikeouts for Haas.
Now batting for the Pilots, their catcher from Nova Southeastern, number 6, Alex Hernandez.
So here's your stat of the day. This is the 6th time the Pilots have faced him, and that's the first hit that they've gotten right there. And it gets all the way to the wall for Hernandez. And it took, yeah. So it took only 6 appearances for Joey Haas to give up his first hit to a Pilot hitter, and it's Alex Hernandez who gets it with 2 gone. And Hernandez, it's his 3rd hit of the evening, so he's had a strong night at the plate for the Pilots. The 12th hit of the evening for Newark. Being out hit by the Red Wings 15-12. They still trail 11-5. Hernandez gets himself into scoring position after the 2-out double. Tadlock chops one to the shortstop. Murray charging at it, trying to field at the plate. At first, not in time. A tough one. And now he's giving up 2 hits.
Now batting for the Pilots, their first baseman from Lincoln Memorial University, number 17, Grady Wright.
And so the Pilots get back-to-back hits off of Haas. Rarity. Yes, it's the first time Haas has given up more than 1 hit in a game since June 29th in that game against Watertown. Fastball swung on by Wright and sent foul for a strike one. Runners at the corners for the Pilots with 2 gone. Haas looking to get out of the inning. Here's the 0-1. Goes with a slider, but it misses outside to the dismay of Haas. And a 1-1 count to Grady Wright now. Haas with the 1-1. Fastball, it's inside and a little high. Two balls and 1 strike now to the first baseman, Wright. Two 2-1, swung on, and it's foul off the shin pad of the catcher, Zach Miller. And it goes to 2-2. Haas with the 2-2 to Wright. Just misses outside. Joey Haas's primary pitch, he goes to that slider a lot. Counters it with the fastball. We'll see what he goes with here in the payoff to Wright. Runners get a head start. Wright smacks one into center, and it'll get in. And Hernandez will come to score. Tadlock will hold off at third. And Grady Wright gets himself an RBI.
Second baseman from Bates College, number 1, Giovanni Torres.
And Joey Haas has finally been solved. Like a Rubik's Cube. It's the second earned run of the season given up by Haas. And the first earned run given up in about a month. It's a 11-6 ball game now. As Grady Wright picks up the RBI. And runners still at the corners for the Pilots. Bottom of the order with Giovanni Torres. He was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning. And is 1 for 3 on the evening. Here's the 0-1. Goes with a slider, but it cuts just a little bit too much and goes outside. So it's a 1-1 count now to Torres. Haas from the stretch, ready to go with the 1-1. Goes with a fastball on the outside corner. Torres didn't like it, but it falls in. And he's behind in the count now, 1-2. Torres trying to extend the inning after Joey Haas gives up a run on the RBI single from Grady Wright. 1-2. Fouled off by Torres. He fought it off in the hands. The count remains at 1-2. Now Haas, in his freshman year at Delaware, at a 6.26 ERA in 12 appearances. He gave up 19 earned runs. So a little bit different. So the 1-2 count here to Torres. Oh, that one is in at the head. As Haas, that one seemed to slip out of his hand a little bit. He's asking for a new ball. That's the ball's fault. As the count goes even at 2-2 after Torres saw his life flash before his eyes. Jumped out of the way of that one. Pause. Gets the call from Miller. Now the 2-2. Runners go, and Torres fouls it off, and the count remains at 2-2. Haas will toss that ball aside as well, so he'll get another one from Zinski. Torres trying to keep the inning alive here for the Pilots as they get one back. They trail 11-6 here in the bottom half of the 8th from Colburn Park. Still a 2-2 count to Torres. Haas looking to get out of the inning. Here's the 2-2 again. It catches the outside corner as Torres looks at strike 3, and so Haas gives up a run, but he strands 2. It's 11-6 ball game. We head to the final frame here at Colburn Park. Red Wings still hanging on to that lead.
Riley.
Top of the 9th here at Colburn Park, and 11-6 Geneva lead. And it's Parker Tadlock who takes over on the mound. Tadlock making a guest appearance. Pitching staff a little thin for the Pilots tonight. And Tadlock, who was out in center field, is going to come in and pitch. And I'm excited to watch this. Riley will lead things off, and Tadlock tosses in a strike. From what I looked at, Tadlock did not pitch at all at Angelo State, so this is something new for him. He misses low and away with this one. Evens the count up at 1-1. 1-1 swung on and drilled into center, and it's going to be a base hit. As Riley gets a hit off of Parker Tadlock to lead things off here in the top of the 9th. I wonder how much convincing Tadlock had to do to get into this game right now. Top of the order now with Jesse Hall. He had an RBI his last time up. Oh, that one's well in the dirt. That one escaped the arm of Tadlock, and Riley easily gets into second. I hope Mr. Tadlock is still watching. He had a great nickname, Muter Cooter, for me when I muted myself. I like that. Oh, I hope he's there. I'm giving him a shout out right now. He's one of my loyal viewers. Count. There's the breaking ball. And he Gets a ground out down at the second, and he retires down to the inning. I don't think that was coming. He was waiting for a nice 70-mile-per-hour fastball right down the middle, and it didn't come. Jackson will come up now as Riley advances to third with one gone. Goes to the nice little breaking ball again, and it falls in for strike one. I'm sure Jackson, if he sees that again, he's going to take a crack at it. He swings at this one and fouls it off, and he's behind the count 0-2. Yeah, he's seen all of his pitches. Yeah, he has. All right, let's see what Tadlock goes with here. Here's the 0-2. Goes to the breaking ball, hit down the right field line, and it's going to go fair. Riley will come home to score. Jackson will round second, and he'll stay there as he gets an RBI double and extends the Red Wings lead to 12-6. As Jackson able to get wood on the 0-2 from Tadlock, and he sends it into right. Jackson, a big night for him. He is 4 for 5 on the night, and now has an RBI to his name. Tanner Murray, the shortstop, will come back to the plate.
There you go.
Tadlock tosses in a fastball for strike one. I saw Phillips going out to center, and I saw Tadlock walking towards the mound, and I didn't know what was going on. The 0-1 swung down to the right, and it's going to find the gap. Jackson will round for home. The throw in won't be in time. And the Red Wings get their 13th run of the evening and take a 13-6 lead.
First baseman number 31, Nick Nebraska.
Somebody's got to help him, push him where he's got to go.
Maybe I can go in next. Maybe they'll put me in. Yeah.
I want to see right throw. That's the pitch he kept throwing the other guy right there.
Nebraska back at the plate now. After the RBI from Murray, his second of the night. Gives the Red Wings a 13-6 lead now. Tadlock goes with the breaking ball and gets ahead in the count 0-2. To Nebraska now. Goes the breaking ball again. Tadlock, but it misses low for ball one, a 1-2 count now. Red Wings have compiled 18 hits on the evening now. 1-2 hit into the gap and left. Phillips tracking, able to make the catch for out number 2. A hard out. Nebraska drilled one into left, but Phillips able to make the play, and it keeps Murray at bay at first.
Number 20, Jack Harris.
Jack Harris will come back to the plate now. With 2 gone, Murray still over at first. Tadlock has given up a pair of runs here in the top half of the 9th. Tosses in a fastball in the outside corner for strike one. Here's the 0-1. In the dirt, Hernandez keeps it in front of him, however. And the count goes to 1-1. Tadlock looks like he kind of knows what he's doing. He looks good. I think he looks good. Yeah, it's probably been a couple years, but there's the 1-1.
There you go.
Catches the outside corner and gets ahead in the count 1-2 now. With 2 gone and 1-2 count to Harris. Tadlock looking to get out of the inning. Harris grounds one down to the shortstop, Kent. The field, and the play over to second, and that'll do it. So not a bad effort from Parker Tadlock. He gives up 2, and the Red Wings lead 13-6. Final gasp from the Pilots when we come back. Way to the home side of the 9th here at Colburn Park.
Shortstop from the University of Virginia, number 8, Nick Kent.
Nick Kent in the top of the order for the Pilots here in the bottom half of the 9th. And Mr. Tadlock, that was just ice cold. That was, I'm saying, that's ice cold for Mr. Tadlock. There was some good pitches. They didn't all look like BP. They didn't all look like BP. We're wondering here if you could tweet me again, when was the last time Parker actually pitched in a game? We're kind of curious. Yeah, he did. So Nick Kent, who was 2 for 5. Yeah. I would, you know, if Mr. Tadlock was here, I'd invite him up and do some color commentary with me. Always looking for a guy to do some color with. Kent grounds one down to Nebraska. Haas will cover it first and touch up for a quick out number 1.
Now batting for the Pilots, third baseman from Florida Atlantic University, number 31, Jared DeSantolo.
So the Red Wings 2 outs away from clinching a playoff spot in the 2018 Perfect Game League playoffs. And the Pilots would be eliminated with a loss. Yes, we would be eliminated. If they lose, they will be eliminated, yes. Yeah. DeSantolo hits one into shallow center. Charging is Harris. He dives. Oh, he made the play. Great effort from the center fielder, Jack Harris. And he gets his glove underneath it for an out number 2.
The Pilots' third right fielder from St. John Fisher, number 10, Alan Murphy.
So with 2 gone, Murphy will try to extend the game as they're down to their final out. Riley talking with Harris. I think Jack Harris lost his glasses. I think he did. He wears glasses. He wears glasses like Walter does, and I'm pretty sure he lost them because he's looking for him right now.
Yeah, I forgot his song gets really bad.
I don't think he found him yet. So hit it up the center, Murphy. That's where you want to go with it. How do you lose those things? I figured like you would find them. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Tied for ball 1. As Pilots down to their final out. Red Wings inching towards a playoff berth. They lead 13-6 here in the bottom of the ninth. Haas misses again outside for ball two. As we mentioned, these two teams meet once again here for a doubleheader at Colburn Park tomorrow. We'll have the call for you at 5 o'clock when game one starts. 2-0 from Haas. Inside as Murphy ducks out of the way. It's a 3-0 count now to Murphy.
You won't see him tomorrow.
Haas with the 3-0. Murphy takes. It's a fastball right down the middle from Haas, and it goes to a 3-1 count. First time in the mound since the summer after his 8th grade year. So it's been a while. As Haas misses outside, it's a 2-out walk issued.
Now batting for the Pilots, the left fielder from Millersville College, number 20, Jacob Polishak.
It's only the 6th walk Joey Haas has given up this season. So a couple of firsts for Haas tonight. As Murphy with 2 gone brings up Jacob Polishak, pinch hitting for Griffin Robinson. Polishak, who's primarily a pitcher, looks at a fastball right down the middle from Haas. It's the 5th time Polishak has hit this season. He has 1 hit and 7 at-bats. Haas misses up and away and moves the count even at 1-1. Haas with the 1-1, a fastball that misses outside. With Murphy still down in first after the 2-out walk here in the bottom of the ninth. Red Wings lead 13-6. Haas trying to close out the game. Red Wings have out-hit the Pilots 18-14. Plenty of offense in this one. It was a 7-run first by the Red Wings that allowed them to sit back, led the entire game. And Pilots are down to their final strike, a 2-2 count to Polishak. Fastball is high and inside. It runs the count full. Polishak on the mound has an 8.85 ERA. In 21 innings pitched with Newark this year. From Frederick, Maryland, plays at Millersville. There's the payoff from Haas. Swing and a miss. And the strikeout from Joey Haas will 6-win by Geneva as they out-hit the Pilots 18-14. It's a doubleheader right here at Colburn Park between these same two teams, as we'll hope to see you tomorrow. And we thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Cooter saying so long from Colburn Park. The Red Wings clinch a playoff berth with a 13-6 win. So we'll see you next time from here at Colburn Park.